If I told you your zip code could quietly cost you over $175,000 in retirement, would you still live where you live today? Because this isn't about working harder or saving more. Two couples can earn the exact same retirement income, do everything right for 35 years, make the same smart decisions, and still end up with a six-figure difference, not because one made a mistake, not because one got unlucky, but because they chose to retire in a different state. And the worst part is, most people don't realize this is happening until it's far too late to fix. A retired couple in California had $120,000 a year in retirement income, pension, IRA withdrawals, everything carefully built over decades. Their neighbors in Wyoming had the exact same income, same pension amount, same IRA withdrawals, same lifetime of saving. At the end of the year, the California couple wrote a check to the state for $7,080. The Wyoming couple wrote nothing. Zero. Not because they were smarter. Not because they had a better accountant. Not because they found some loophole. Because they lived in a different state. Now pause for a second and really think about that. Same income, same retirement, same effort. Completely different outcome. And here's where it gets expensive in a way most people never calculate. Over 25 years of retirement, that $7,000 difference doesn't stay small. It compounds into $175,000. $175,000 gone. Not to the federal government, not to the IRS, to the state you chose to retire in. And here's the part that should concern you. Most Americans over 60 make this decision every single year without ever running these numbers. They look at weather, they look at lifestyle, they look at where family lives, but they never actually calculate what their state is taking from them year after year. And today, you're going to see exactly how that works. Not opinions, not general advice, real numbers. Because once you see this, you'll never look at retirement location the same way again. Let's start with what sounds like the best case scenario. There are 9 states in America that charge 0 state income tax, 0 on Social Security, 0 on pensions, 0 on IRA or 401k withdrawals. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, Wyoming. On paper, that sounds perfect. You retire there, and the state takes nothing from your income. But here's where people get caught off guard. 0 income tax does not mean 0 cost. And in some cases, the hidden costs in these states can quietly cancel out every dollar you thought you were saving. Take Florida, one of the most popular retirement states in the country. No state income tax sounds great. But homeowners insurance in some areas is now reaching $10,000, $12,000, even $15,000 per year. That's not a small expense. That's a second property tax bill. And it's driven by one thing, risk. Hurricanes. So while you're saving on income tax, you may be paying it somewhere else without realizing it. Now look at Texas. Again, no income tax. But property taxes in major cities are among the highest in the country. In places like Houston, you could easily be paying over $9,000 a year on a $400,000 home. So yes, the state doesn't tax your income, but they still collect revenue, just in a different way. Now here's something almost nobody considers until it becomes a problem. Healthcare access. In Nevada, there's no income tax, but the state ranks near the bottom in the number of primary care physicians per capita, which means fewer doctors, longer wait times. And in retirement, that's not a small issue. That's a major quality of life factor. Now look at Tennessee. No income tax again, but groceries are taxed, and not just lightly. When you combine state and local taxes, you can be paying close to 7% on basic food. Every week, every month, every year. And when you're on a fixed income, that adds up faster than people expect. So yes, 0 tax states are real. The benefits are real, but the full picture is always bigger than just one number. Now let's flip this completely. Because while some states take nothing on paper, others are quietly taking thousands from retirees every single year, and most people don't realize how much until you actually do the math. Let's start with California. California has the highest top state income tax rate in the country at 13.3%. Now, to be fair, Social Security is not taxed in California. That's the good news. But almost everything else is. Pensions are taxed, IRA withdrawals are taxed, 401k distributions are taxed, and they're taxed at progressive rates. So if you're earning $120,000 in retirement income from those sources, you're looking at roughly $7,000 a year in state taxes. Every year. Not once. Not occasionally. Every single year you live there. Now step back and think about that long term. Over 25 years, that's about $177,000. And that's money you already earned. Money you already paid federal taxes on. Now you're paying again, just because of where you live. And here's what makes it even more difficult. California's cost of living is significantly higher than the national average. So not only are you paying more in taxes, every dollar you keep doesn't go as far. Now let's move to Minnesota. Minnesota taxes retirement income at rates that can reach nearly 10%. Pensions, IRA withdrawals, 401k distributions, all treated as ordinary income, and Social Security can also be taxed depending on your income level. There are deductions available, but the thresholds are strict, which means many retirees don't qualify. So a retiree with around $65,000 in pension income and $25,000 in Social Security could easily be paying around $4,000 to $5,000 per year in state taxes. Again, every year. Now let's talk about Vermont. Vermont has one of the lowest income thresholds in the country for taxing Social Security, which means benefits become taxable much earlier compared to other states. And once your income crosses certain levels, those exemptions disappear completely. On top of that, Vermont's income tax rates go up to 8.75%, and the state also has an estate tax. So you're looking at both ongoing taxes and potential taxes on what you leave behind. Now here's something important to understand. It's not just these three states. There are several others that follow a similar pattern, states where retirement income gets taxed in multiple ways: Connecticut, Rhode Island, Utah, Colorado, Montana, each with different rules, but the same underlying issue. The money you saved in tax-deferred accounts becomes fully taxable the moment you start using it, and the state takes its share before you even see the full amount. Now here's where things get interesting. Because the best retirement tax strategy is not always where people expect it to be. Most people assume the best place to retire is a state with zero income tax. But there's a state that surprises almost everyone: Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania does have a state income tax, about 3%. But here's what most people miss. Social Security is not taxed. Pensions are not taxed. IRA and 401k withdrawals are not taxed. So if your income comes primarily from retirement sources, your effective state income tax is zero, the same as Florida, but often with lower insurance costs and more stable living expenses. So that same retiree paying thousands in California could be paying nothing in Pennsylvania. Same income, different outcome, and Pennsylvania is not alone. States like Illinois, Mississippi, and Iowa offer similar advantages. They technically have income taxes, but they exempt most or all retirement income, which means in practice, retirees pay little to nothing. Now here's something else that changed recently, and most people haven't caught up to it yet. Several states have become significantly more retirement-friendly in the past couple of years. Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska have all eliminated state income tax on Social Security, completely gone, which means retirees in those states are now keeping more of their income than before, and some states are going even further. New Jersey, for example, introduced a program that can return up to $6,500 per year in property tax relief for eligible seniors, which is a major shift for a state that used to be known for high property taxes. So the map is changing, and the state you dismissed 5 years ago might actually be one of the better options today. Now, before you make any decisions based on tax rates alone, there's something else that quietly costs retirees thousands every year, and it's not a tax, it's missed benefits. Programs that exist, are funded, are available, but most people never apply. Property tax relief programs, senior exemptions, tax freezes, rebates in states like Texas, New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. These programs can reduce your expenses by hundreds or even thousands of dollars per year, but only if you know about them, and only if you apply, and most people don't, because nobody tells them. So here's what you should actually do with all of this. First, if you already live in a high-tax state, calculate exactly what you're paying annually in state taxes on your retirement income. Then multiply it over 20 or 25 years. That number shows you the true cost of staying. Second, don't evaluate states based on income tax alone. Look at the full picture: property taxes, insurance, healthcare access, cost of living, because sometimes a tax-free state ends up costing more overall. Third, if you're in a state that recently changed its tax laws, make sure you're actually benefiting from it. Sometimes tax rules change, but withholding or planning doesn't catch up right away. Fourth, check for local programs, property tax exemptions, rebates, credits, even small savings add up over time. And finally, understand this: the median retirement income in the US is just over $50,000. That's not a huge margin, so losing even a few $1,000s a year to unnecessary costs can significantly change your lifestyle. It can determine whether you travel or stay home, whether you feel comfortable or constantly budgeting, whether your money lasts or slowly runs out. Same savings, same effort, same lifetime of work, completely different result, all based on one decision: where you choose to live. And once you see the numbers, you can't unsee them.